Which is better for weight loss and for our health, a low-fat or a low-carb diet? Hi, my name is Howard Jacobson, yeoman farmer at plantyourself.com, and let's take a look at a study that's been making the rounds this month. The study is by Bazzano et al. Called Effects of Low Carbohydrate and Low Fat Diets, and it was published in the Annals of Internal Medicine in August 2014. I first heard about this study when I got a Facebook message from a friend saying, hey, check this out, a call for a low-carb diet in the New York Times. My friends know that I'm not a low-carb fan, so they're always sending me stuff like this, like, what do you think? And then later, next day, I got from a friend a call for a low-carb diet. Howard, what do you think? Well, I hadn't seen the study, but I checked out the New York Times article, and it said that people who avoid carbohydrates and eat more fat, even saturated fat, lose more body fat and have fewer cardiovascular risks, a major new study shows. Well, you know me, I've got to go look at the actual study to see if that's what it really says. Here it is, the effects of low carbohydrate and low fat diets, and the intervention was a low carbohydrate or a low fat diet. And the conclusion was the low carbohydrate diet was more effective for weight loss and cardiovascular risk factor reduction than the low fat diet. So first thing is, this was a short-term study. It was only over 1 year. So when they talk about heart risk of heart disease, of stroke, things like that, they really were not talking about did people get heart attacks, did they have angina, did they have strokes. It was not about symptoms, it was about clinical biomarkers, meaning cholesterol basically, lipid profiles. And the limitation, as the study itself said, was lack of clinical cardiovascular disease endpoints. So this really wasn't a study about cardiovascular risk as so much as a study of cardiovascular risk factors. Second problem, when we see this all the time when people compare their diets to a low-fat diet, is the low-fat diet isn't really low-fat. They're just attacking a straw man. Those assigned to the low-fat diet were instructed to maintain less than 30% of their daily energy intake from total fat. 30%. For me, a low-fat diet is 15% or less. 30% is basically the standard American diet, not a low-fat diet at all. Third thing, the participants were randomly assigned to one of these two groups. Now, if you think about it, if someone told you, okay, for a year you're going to eat this way or that way, would that really work for you? Can you really randomly assign people to a diet and have them stick with it? Well, it's hard to know, except that there is this interesting little bit of data from the study itself. Participants assigned to the low carbohydrate diet were instructed to maintain an intake of digestible carbohydrate of less than 40 grams per day. Okay, so if the people on the low carb diet ate less than 40 grams per day, then we could say that random assignment kind of worked to get them compliant with the diet to which they were assigned. However, as we can see, at 12 months, the carbohydrate intake was an average of 127 grams per day. That's more than 3 times what they were assigned. So you can see the low-carb diet wasn't exactly low-carb either. Just showing random assignment doesn't work. You can assign people to take a pill or take a placebo, but you can't assign people to a lifestyle. And any study that tries to do so is just silly. Fourth, one of the claims of the study was that people who limited their carbohydrates lost more weight than people who limited their fat. Let's take a look and see if that's true. Now, the study says that total energy intake was similar between groups, meaning they had pretty much the same number of calories. So calories couldn't have been the issue. It must have been which calories, fats or carbs. However, when we look at 12 months, how many calories each group was taking in per day, the low-fat group was taking in 1,527 on average, and the low-carb group was taking 1,448. Well, let's do a little bit of math to see if it really is similar. When we subtract one from the other, we get 79 more calories per day for the low-fat group. Over the course of a year, that's 28,835 extra calories. And if there are 3,500 calories per pound of fat, when we do the division, we get 8¼ extra pounds for the low-fat group simply based on caloric intake. Now, The study said that the low-fat group lost 7.7 more pounds than the low-carb group. That is entirely explainable simply by the differences in the amount of calories each group took in. Oh, and one more thing. If we want to look at a study, we want to see that it represents real life. So what were the people in this study actually eating? According to the study, we also provided one low-carb or low-fat meal replacement bar or shake per day to participants in each group for the duration of the study. So you can see that this really doesn't represent real life in any way, shape, or form. So despite the sloppy and lazy reporting by organizations like the New York Times, there's really nothing in this study that suggests that anyone should abandon a whole food, plant-based diet for one rich in fat, especially animal fats. If you'd like to hear more from me, you can visit plantyourself.com. You can get videos, there's a podcast, articles, you can sign up for updates. You can also find me at facebook.com@plantyourself. Have a great day and be well, my friends.